We're going to see storm surge in Citrus, Levy, Wakulla, and Franklin counties also. Wind, upwards of 75 miles per hour, and you can see gusts more than that. Rain, 5 to 10 inches of rain, but is a potential of 20 inches of rain, which means significant flooding. We have significant risk for tornadoes. That's where your cell phone is going to come in handy, because the National Weather Service hopefully will be able to send you an update. We have mandatory evacuations in a portion of some counties: Franklin, Taylor, Dixie, Wakulla, and Levy. Follow evacuation orders. It can save your life. Remember, 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 we cannot rescue you during a storm. In some counties, we have voluntary evacuations in a portion of the county, in Gulf and Jefferson counties. If you have any question about an evacuation, if you have any concern, call your sheriff's office, call your emergency management local team, call your mayors. They are there to take care of you and want to help you. But again, you have to prepare. You can go to floridadisaster.org/public mapping to get information, whether it's about a shelter, whether it's about evacuation. You can get a lot of information there. floridadisaster.org/public mapping. The telephone number for the Florida Emergency Center, 850-921-0217. 850-921-0217. But let me remind you, your cell phone can save your life. Keep it charged. There's going to be continued updates. Follow the news. We have our news services around the state are doing a great job of keeping people informed. But it's your job to prepare. Remember, we cannot save your life during the storm. We cannot save your life during the storm. 3 days of water, 3 days of food. If you need medicine, make sure you have it. If you think you're going to need to go to a shelter, go now. If you think of a family member or you or a friend that you think will need to go to emergency shelter for somebody that's disabled, go now. If you need a pet shelter, do it now. Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, make sure everybody you know is safe. Talk to each other. We have a great state, we love each other, keep everybody safe. Now, once this happens, we're going to see a lot of standing water. Don't drive into it. Do not drive into standing water. We're going to see a lot of trees down. We have a lot of wind. We're going to see a lot of trees down. Don't touch a power line. They're going to knock down a lot of power lines. Our utilities are going to be hard at work getting our power back on, but if you see a power line down, call your utility, call your emergency management team, call your sheriff. Do not touch it. Do not try to do something with it. Our National Guard has already pre-positioned assets just like our utilities have. We have 6,000 members of National Guard ready to be mobilized. Fish and Wildlife Commission, they have special ops teams, they have search and rescue teams. I hope we don't need to use one of them. If everybody evacuates that should, if everybody prepares that should, then we will not have to use our search and rescue team. When we do, we put their lives at risk. Don't put their life at risk. Don't put your life at risk. Let's think about this. We're going to hope for the best, and we're going to prepare for the worst. Now, on top of that, as you know, we are dealing with Zika in our state. Right? We are trying to do everything we can to make sure we don't have any more cases. We have been doing every day, getting rid of standing water. As soon as this happens, we'll do very aggressive mosquito abatement around the state, but also you need to get rid of all the standing water around your house, get rid of all the standing water at your business, get all the standing water any place you see. So this is your opportunity. Still get prepared. We have a hurricane. It is going to happen. It is here now. It's going to happen in the next few hours. So let's think about what we're doing. We can rebuild a home. We can rebuild a business. We cannot rebuild your life. So we'll be glad to take any questions anybody has.
Governor, have you heard from the White House or President Obama about the storm?
No, I haven't. I've reached out to the sheriffs and a lot of the mayors, but no, I've not heard from the White House.
What about FEMA?
FEMA, they have an individual. They have an individual that works right here. So FEMA's here. I've not talked to them personally, but FEMA's here.
Okay, but
I guess you might be waiting for aftermath, but applying for federal disaster relief and stuff like that as well.
That will be after. What we'll do is we'll go through the process. Brian can talk about the process, but you do it after the fact.
Sure, I have spoken with the regional administrator and the administrator of FEMA today, and the governor is correct. Once the storm is passed and we do the damage assessments, then we'll determine whether or not we'll request a presidential declaration for disaster.
Have you had any conversations, either governor with the local emergency people, or to have any indication as to whether or not there are people who are ignoring the mandatory evacuation requests and are continuing to stay here? Do you have any insights into how that's going?
Governor, you want to answer? I will tell you that I have not had any specific folks. I know that we've done everything we can to help educate them about what that storm surge will be, and down to the individual level to let them know. But I don't have any indications that there are folks who are ignoring that.
Down to the individual level. So you're under the impression that in some of these counties, did they go door to door in some of those areas?
Either door to door or called individuals directly.
Yeah, no one. As I've talked to the sheriffs, none of them have brought up anything about the evacuations. That doesn't mean that everybody's evacuated, but not one of the sheriffs has brought that up to me.
How many people are in these evacuation zones in all these counties that you mentioned?
I don't know. Do you know the number, Brian?
It's the good news is that the majority of these are fairly small towns. Cedar Key has about 700 people in it, so we're talking in the hundreds, maybe in the thousands, but they're fairly small communities.
Would that make it harder to rescue anybody that did stay then, because they're harder to get to areas?
They are. I mean, those are remote locations, so that coupled with the winds would make it extremely difficult and dangerous for first responders. Yes.
And we have shelters. We have shelters for them, so they should go to the shelters now.
And speaking of shelters, Mr. Kuhn, do you have any updated numbers on how many are in shelters right now?
I do not have a current shelter count, but we'll get that to you as soon as we can.
We were just down in Wakulla, and they didn't have many down in the shelter yet.
One last question is that I know it's a limited area, but have you had any indications from your partners regarding infrastructure, specifically gasoline? Have you heard anything about gasoline, and whether or not there's going to be any problem with that?
I have not had any indications of any kind of fuel issues at this point, no.
What about bridge closures over by, I'm thinking of going out towards St. George Island? So are those already closed, or are they just open for evacuation?
The last report I had that they were having 25-mile-an-hour sustained winds on St. George Island Bridge. I do not have a report yet that is closed, but I'll get you that as soon as I can.
Governor, will state offices be closed tomorrow?
We'll make a decision later on in the day. We closed them today at noon. We'll make a decision a little bit later. So we closed today at noon. We want everybody to get prepared. I mean, and so many of these people are in Tallahassee, and we're going to have some bad weather. So we're going to have down power lines. We're going to have a lot of wind, a lot of rain.
Governor, how are we prepared for the down power lines and whatnot? Obviously, we've got trees that are inevitably going to fall down. And, I think during Kate we had power out for weeks in Tallahassee.
The utilities have pre-positioned themselves, but we are going to have down power lines. First off, the most important thing to me is don't touch one. Don't get close to one. They'll be out there. They've got mutual aid agreements with other utilities. Depending on what happens, we'll get aid from around the country from other utilities. We'll find out how long we're going to lose power, but you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to have you need to charge up your phone. You need to have a battery-powered radio to be able to follow the news. You should assume you're going to lose power, and then hope that you don't. And then I know the utilities will be out there as quickly as they can. If we need the services of the National Guard, they'll be there to provide services. I know that sheriff's offices, I've talked to them, are ready to help each other around the state, but we're going to lose power.
You mentioned federal assistance and stuff. What about other states? Any calls or either from them or to them to be like, hey, Georgia, Alabama, could you help us out?
We have not called out to other states, but Governor Abbott from Texas just called a few minutes ago. So, but historically, states work well together. We have provided services like we provided some services over in Louisiana, and I'm sure others will want to help us.